Guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'll be talking about the worst hotel experiences that I've had. Now, to preface this first story, this took place in 2014 at a very nice, very grand, very fancy hotel, very expensive hotel in New Orleans. This is very well known. It's a well-known hotel. And me, my family, so my mom, my sister, my baba, my brother, and I were all staying at this hotel. And it was pretty nice. We go in, we check in, we go up to the elevator, and first and foremost, it's at the end of the hallway, connected, and there's one kind of room where it's like kind of like a suite, living room, one bathroom, and like one bedroom all separate off. And then there was the room, my baba and brother were staying in that room. And then the other room over here was just a regular hotel room with just the bedroom, a little TV here, little chairs, and a bathroom, and there was 2 beds, and it was me, my sister, my mom sharing that room. Now, it was pretty nice, pretty fancy. We're going out, we're having a good time, whatever. Now, the first night caught me off guard here in this hotel. Like, I was sleeping, and I've always had trouble sleeping since I was a little kid. Like, I don't know where it stems or where it starts, but I've always had trouble sleeping. And the first night I look over, and I see at the end of the bed, my mom's bed, mine was facing towards the window. There's like a charging cord, and I saw under there was like a red flashing on and off, kind of recording. On and off recording. And I'm like, that's weird. Okay, that's completely weird. I was kind of like worried about it for a second, but I didn't wake anyone up at all. And I just kind of went, all right, I'm just gonna to ignore that for now. My 9-year-old self was like, just went back to bed after that night. Now the next day I wake up and I just was so uncomfortable changing in that room because I woke up, checked the little thing. I could not see a recording where the camera would be in the outlet. And I could not figure out, so I was nervous. So I remember I went to the bathroom, and what I did was, like, I looked where there was not an outlet, and I changed because I did not feel comfortable changing in that room anymore because I didn't know if there was any more cameras or was recording what the deal was. And I didn't tell my mom anything at this point because I just thought didn't say anything at the time. Fast forward to the second night of our stay, and this was the night when everything kind of went down. So I, of course, had even more trouble sleeping, knowing what happened the night before. I remember I looked over and I saw it was recording, and I remember staying directly in place because I was like, I'm not gonna say anything. And then I look up, and there's like an event above my mom's bed, low ceiling, and I remember being scared because I heard voices. It sounded like 2 to 3 men voicing. I could not tell you what they said. All I could make out was, oh, she's go. And I just heard ruffling throughout there. Now, I was pretty scared at this point, and what I honestly did was, I had an iPad that was like right across the room, so I literally got up out of my bed and just ran to get my iPad, then ran back and went under the covers. I don't know what I accomplished by this, but it was honestly pretty scary. And I just remember after hearing that, after I guess they kind of saw or heard me and rumbling, I didn't hear anything else that night, but I got like no sleep that night. I was scared, but eventually I fell asleep. The next morning I wake up and I try to tell my mom this experience. She does not believe me. She doesn't believe me that happened. I'm like, I tried telling her. She's thinking I made it up. My 9-year-old self just made up stories, like I'm lying. Now I'm even more uncomfortable in this room, so I pack my stuff up and I go across the hall and I stay at my baba's little place on the couch because I'm just not dealing with this over here. And no one in my family believes me when I tell this. No one believed me at this time, so I stayed there for the rest of the stay, and that was the end of that. But I was forever uncomfortable going into the hotel room over there. Now, come to find out, a few years later, like last year, I was talking about this with my mom, and come to find out the night after, so this would be the 3rd night, I told her this and she didn't believe me. She looked over and saw the outlet recording. She looked up at the vents and she said, if you don't go away, I'm calling the front desk. and then calling the police. And all of a sudden, there was a camera gone, and it was ruffling around. She heard ruffling around, and after that, apparently there was no visit, which is pretty scary to think that where they were crawling around in the vent system or what, I do not know. But I just remember being terrified, and that was thankfully the only time we ever stayed at that hotel, because that was absolutely terrifying. So, yeah. But it's not the end of the video. The second bad experience at a hotel was I was for my 13th birthday. I went to Six Flags with my mom, her boyfriend at the time, and my best friend at the time. And it is important to know that there was 2 separate rooms. My mom and her boyfriend, and my friend and I got our own room. And my mom booked the place, and it was like this really sketchy kind of motel kind of deal, right? And my mom, they picked non-smoker rooms, and of course, they both smelled really bad because of smoking. And we go in and check in pretty bad, and they picked the room with like more smoking, but they picked the room closest to the parking lot, and then the other room is all in our room. My friend's room is all the way in the back. So we check in our room, and the first thing I notice is the door. Now, this door, just to have mind picture, it was like, you can tell it's been broken in. There was blood, and it was like kind of messed up with on the top, and there's like blood on the door. The handle itself was kind of weird, and you can tell like the lock not locked, it was like a little hurt like that. So you could kind of tell something happened or broken in. There was blood on the door for whatever reason. So that was pretty sketchy. Another thing, and then I go further into this room, and the bathroom was the second noticeable thing in this room. And the bathroom was pretty nasty. There's stuff all around it. There's nothing clean in the bathroom. Like, all we ever did was use the bathroom, that toilet. We never showered or anything, because it was just, it looked so bad. And there, like, you can tell it wasn't clean. And then, so we go to Six Flags, and the first night, I'll go in there, my friend is asleep, and I'm awake, because I've stopped trouble sleeping at this point, because this was 2018. I'm awake, and all of a sudden at the door, I just hear, and then rustling, like, at the door. I'm like, oh shit, okay. So there's little peephole at the door, and I peek my head, like, little eye through it. And I look out my door, and I see someone handing someone to a cash and discouragedly giving them. And we're at the back of the building. We're at the back. So I look through the peephole, and I just realized, oh my God, there's a drug deal outside our room. And oh my God. Now I immediately see this is going on, and I just calmly go to bed, or try to go to bed. And I could not sleep that night either, because, they tried to get in the room. So, or check, I guess, if someone to snitch. I really don't know. But also, the damage on the door is really, like... So, that happens. I kind of acknowledge what just happened outside. I didn't sleep, and I didn't tell my friend anything about what went down until about 6 months after the fact. I told her, what happened that night. And yeah, thankfully the second night, which we were leaving the next day, thankfully nothing happened that night. Everything was completely fine, but it was still pretty kind of scary. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. And yeah, till next time.